Good evening, everybody. I'm going to give it just a few minutes here. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm having all kinds of issues with my phone. So, before we get started, I dropped my phone the other day and had to get a new one and got the new one, but nothing is working right on it. They were supposed to send me an unlocked phone, and I got some AT&T phone, and I think that's been causing me all kinds of bugs. Um, a lot of stuff isn't going through. Can't make any calls. I'm receiving some calls. Messages aren't going through. So all kinds of just fun stuff. This has been a week from hell for the Peterson household. We've had some ordeals here. We'll fill you in, but I'm gonna grab something to drink quick, and we'll see you guys back here in just a couple minutes. Hang tight. Ha! Wind. What wind? There's no wind out there. Unbelievable how much wind we have this year. Let's see. All right. Well, we can get started, I guess, a little bit. Um, how is everybody doing? How did everybody survive the cold and the wind and all the fun stuff that's going along with this crazy weather we've been having? All right. Well, more and more people are joining in here, so um, it it's been crazy. You know, the Poigan, obviously the open water on Poigan's been just a nightmare for guys. A lot of those spots, started to cap over, but I have a feeling that that whole South Shore is just going to open up, especially with this wind here over the next few days. We get any bit of rain or what, who knows what's going to happen with the weather, but This wind is, unlike anything I can ever remember for as long as what it's been blowing. I mean, every day it blows 30. We're not getting any breaks whatsoever. There's no snow on the ice, and that sunshine just starts to heat the rocks and the weeds and anything in the shallows. That ice just acts like a magnifying glass, and that sun refracts through, heats up the rocks, heats up the bottom, and creates hot pockets. And that water, that warm water obviously rises and starts melting the ice from the bottom up. And the the problem with that is until we get some snow, all of our shallow areas where we're accessing the lake are going to start to erode, and we're just not going to be able to get out to many places. I'm hoping that everything can kind of survive here the next couple days, and then we get some cold weather showing back up next week, and hopefully some snow. It's looking like we're going to get a bunch of snow next week, which is fine with me. You guys can have it. I am heading to Mexico on Sunday, so peace out, Wisconsin. Although it looks like we're going to go down there, it's going to be pretty warm, and we're going to come back and it's going to be freezing cold. But I'm okay with that. Just after all the crap that's happened these last couple weeks, especially this week, has been just brutal. We had, let's see, where can we start? Well, my grandpa died. I went to go use the hot tub, opened it up, and it was a giant block of ice. Let's see, the wind has been fun to deal with. Let's just say that. A lot of stuff breaking. Obviously, if you've seen the stuff on Facebook today, we went out to check the shacks, and one of the shacks was actually flipped over. Never seen that before. It's pretty big shack to just flip over, but I guess with that much wind, anything's possible. Seen a bunch of shacks and some cracks and stuff blown around. Let's see what else has happened. Boy, I can't even. It's I can't even remember honestly. It's just been one of those weeks. Slipped and fell yesterday and destroyed my knee. It's about the size of a basketball right now. I don't know what's going on there. Um, oh, what else? Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna keep pushing on and living the guide life. Mike, absolutely. Hey, Troy, got to be tough being a guide now. If we didn't enjoy it and we didn't like the challenges, we wouldn't do it. People that say, "Oh, you got it made," living the guide life and dream job. Well, some days is nice. Weeks like these last couple weeks with the cold and the wind and everything breaking and just dealing with the wind has been very challenging. It really tests your patience. And if you don't have patience, this is not the game for you. I'm going to tell you that right now, because you have to be able to remain positive and do the best you can. And, unfortunately, some of the days, we can only do what we can do. When you get those 30, 40 mile an hour winds, it was funny watching guys try to drive around this past weekend. They couldn't get going. I mean, there was no traction. There's no snow on the ice, so there's no traction. And, guys trying to pull shacks, or even just trucks with, caps on them. If they didn't have a cap, it seemed like it was okay. But if you had a cap on your truck, if you were sideways, the wind just blew you sideways. And guys were spinning tires and trying to get enough momentum to get into the wind, but they just couldn't get anywhere. Guys were kind of stuck in their own, in their own tracks, and it was quite comical. Obviously, with the UTV and ATVs and stuff like that. Trying to pull the shacks just was pointless. We couldn't get anywhere, and then it becomes kind of a safety issue. When we went out in the morning, it wasn't bad because we're going with the wind. And then that wind really started to pick up when those snow squalls started coming through. And then as we, tried to head back in, it wasn't happening. We just had to leave the shacks parked, and put the guys in the UTV and head in. And unfortunately, we came back and one of the shacks was tipped over today and did a little bit of damage. I gotta get some stuff together here to fix it, but we'll get her through the rest of the season, and then it'll be overhaul time this summer to get them ready for next year. So always something. There's always something breaking and always stuff to fix, and you gotta be able to do it. If not, this is not the game. Anyway, the as far as fishing goes, there's a lot of just big schools of fish out on Winnebago right now. White bass, walleye, perch, kind of everything all mixed together. And then using the 360 has been key for finding the epicenter, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, of the schools. And when you do that, it's usually pretty lights out. The bite though, for the perch has been really finicky. We've had schools of hundreds. I mean, at any given point in time, there's 15 to 20 fish on your screen, and watching the live and even dropping the camera down. Perch, walleyes, a few white bass kind of in those areas, but primarily just perch and walleye. And they've been finicky. I don't know if it's just the pressure changes or the weather. You get them one day, and then it seems like 2 or 3 days of nothing, and then all of a sudden, bam, they'll hit again, and then nothing. So we're in that midwinter, blues type of a thing where we're kind of getting close to that February time period now, where stuff will start. Schooling back up in the bigger schools, and start moving towards the mouth of the river, and fishing's only going to get better here on out. So they're just being temperamental. I will say this one thing that we have noticed, and for guys that are out there, I don't know if you guys can chime in on this too, but out on Bago, it seems like everything or anything that has orange to it has been the ticket. I don't know if it's has to do with the perch or what, but if you have orange on a bait, that seems to be it. Whether it be a jig and wrap or a spoon, it has to have some bit of orange on it. And then the days that they're like super finicky, we've been dropping down to extremely small stinger spoons, either the gold or the orange stinger spoons, and then just loading them up with spikes, and just really, really lightly jigging that thing off the bottom, getting them to bite on that. And then as far as the tip-ups go, on the boxes, the Rosies, it's been hit and miss. I got my butt just handed to me with emeralds. So if you can find some smaller emerald shiners, it seems like those perch are really focused in on those versus the Rosies or just standard fatheads. And the other thing too is if you guys are setting the tip ups up, keep them up about a foot to 18 inches or so. Seems like that's been the best. I don't know if they're just the fish that are feeding are swimming up to the baits, which is what they should be doing. But the baits that we have pinned down to the bottom, where most of the fish are cruising around, just aren't getting bit. As soon as we raise them up, boom, stuff gets triggered, and that's when we've been getting the fish. So, and then that way, the other thing with that too is, our leads from the treble hook to the sinkers, again, has been pretty high. There's a pretty big gap there to allow those minnows to really, move around and create some action. That really has kind of been our ticket for the tip ups. It looks like, well, I can tell you the South Shore and the East Shore, with the winds and the warm weather, the heaves have really taken a toll. Down by the Fraction, by the islands off of Wentz and Black Wolf, and the West Shore Fishing Club, I believe, was pulling their bridges completely. It's getting dangerous around the rocks, guys. And if you don't know the area, you'll watch a GPS. It's almost a necessity to have a GPS right now if you're cruising around on the West Shore, even on the East Shore. But it seems like there's a little bit more snow. There was anyway. Now it's probably going to be gone after these 2 days, with the warmth. But don't drive over the tops of any reefs. Don't get close to them. Stay away from them. I did go and check some of the reefs, around Long Point, and kind of just checking some spots over the top of some of the 8-9 foot humps. And the ice, everywhere around out from those rocks was 18 to 20 inches. And I drilled on a couple of the rock humps and had about 10. So it definitely is heating that water up, heating the rocks up, and melting from the bottom up. So just use a lot of caution, and obviously don't be taking any vehicles around any of the reefs. That's just kind of an appetite for disaster. But hopefully we get some snow. Looks like the cold's going to return here next week, and we can keep building some ice and preserve it as long as we possibly can. It's kind of discouraging or a little disappointing to have a year like what we have out on Bago, to have ice flat as a pancake. It's like a highway out there. No big cracks out in the middle. No shove ice. It really is nice to drive around, and you can pretty much go anywhere you want to without any worries. And then obviously here with the sun and the warmth, we're really starting to take a toll on the shorelines and such. So just, use caution, be careful, and just be smart. The out on Poigan, that South Shore, that open water that's been out there. Some of it tried to cap over, but again, with the wind and the sunshine and the warmth and everything, I'm pretty certain that's all going to open right back up again. It never really healed fully to begin with. Nofke's has, closed their landing. County Landing's still open, but I would not recommend anybody going out there. Even, myself knowing that ice is changing daily, and I don't know if we've ever seen Poigan with a south end opened as much as what it has. And if all those holes kind of join together and create one big giant hole, I could really see that lake, shifting and moving around with all this wind. So I guess time will tell, and we'll have to see what's happening. They did have a really good party on Poigan, just a ton of big pike caught throughout the system. So if guys are really looking to go out and chase pike, definitely start looking, Butamore and Poigan back in the bays, and you guys should find some good pike fishing. The walleyes, they had a great turnout for walleyes. I don't think there was much for other fish, crappies, white bass. Normally, there's some pretty big schools out there, but just really haven't seen much for fish other than walleyes and pike out on Poigan. There's a few perch and some bluegills and stuff around, but nothing hot and heavy yet. We're still early. It's still January. We really don't start seeing a lot of those schools of panfish grouped together until we get into that second week of February or close to sturgeon spearing. Once sturgeon spearing get here, that's about the time we start seeing more perch and stuff out on Poigan. But lots of walleyes, a lot of guys getting them on tip ups. Rosy reds again seem to be the best bait out there. Number 20 trebles, and out there, the best has been keeping them like 2 to 3 inches right off the bottom. And the bigger the rosies, the better. And then also emeralds too. The bigger emerald shiners have been working really well. Let's see, see if we have any questions here. Let's see. Justin was saying, yes, sir, they were on fire today. Mike asked, with the lack of snow, do you prefer boot spikes or boot chains, creepers or crosscut chain? I'm a Catula guy. All my creepers, those spikes, I have the Catulas. Those just seem to be, the best. I don't slip around. It's a full boot coverage. So I've got spikes on the toe and the heel. So you don't have to worry about slipping around or falling around out there, especially when it's windy like this. You get a little bit of water on top of the ice with the sunshine. Stuff gets really slippery, and doesn't take much to fall around. Justin took a couple diggers today, washed his suit off just after I got done drilling some holes to get the shack set, and he took a digger and fell in a big puddle, and um, it just yeah, spikes or cleats on your boots is kind of one of those things right now where it's going to save a collarbone or a broken tailbone or something. With my knee right now, I couldn't even pull my knee up or my leg up to try and put the spikes on or my cleats on the boots. It is so sore, and I'll be icing that thing again tonight before I go to bed. And hopefully, it goes away and starts to heal a little bit because walking or just doing anything right now is a chore. I don't know how I'm gonna kneel down and work tip ups very effectively. It's just getting old thing kind of sucks. As far as let's see, Kevin says, "How big of a buck you shoot this year?" Kevin, I got a decent one with the bow. I did not shoot anything with the gun. Left a lot of nice smaller ones go, and a couple of our bigger ones got taken out and got poached actually. So a little disappointed there, and uh, we'll give her hard again next year. That's a nice thing about deer hunting is you always got next year. Let's see. I was told today the open spot is a mile long by 200 yards wide on south end of Poigan. Yeah, that's about right, Tim. Dan says, "What charcoal you running in the boxes?" Um, Dan, I run all Kingsford, so I've got a mix of the high heat and just the standard Kingsford. So what I like to do is put the standard stuff, put three briquettes in the bottom of the can, and then I light the top ones or the high heat ones, and that helps get everything started. Um, Once you get that top one going and set it on top, it'll chain light as it goes down, and you'll be good to go. The nice thing with those hot ones is they do burn really hot, but they burn really fast. It is an extremely hot charcoal, and I found that stuff at the Ace Hardware. That stuff's a little bit harder to find than just the standard Kingsford. But yeah, don't get the match light, and just get the standard Kingsford regular charcoal. Let's see. Justin says I have a sore knee from not wearing them. Oh boy. Jeff says he pulled his shack off Alder Creek last night, drove over a crack, and heard that it is opened up as wide as a truck today. That wouldn't surprise me. And it's only going to probably grow more tomorrow. I don't know if we've ever seen, a day like this, in the middle of the season, where you've got that much ice, 15 to 20 inches, and you've got no snow and a ton of wind, sunshine. It's just um, it's just a fuel for cracks opening up and causing damage and sucking vehicles and four wheelers and everything else. And so just be smart about everything, guys. Keep your vehicles off here till everything locks back up. I tell you what, it sure is nice not driving my vehicle out on the ice. As easy as what things can be, and as nice it is having a truck out there. Just the peace of mind knowing that I don't have to worry so much about finding that one spot that might only have a couple inches, or trying to cross the cracks, or whatever you're trying to do in a vehicle versus a snowmobile or ATV. It's a lot nicer to be able to crawl around out there without 8,000 pounds underneath you. Let's see here. Ray's greetings from Minnesota. It's spring over here in the cities. Yeah, John, no charcoal tomorrow, that's for sure. Um, yeah, we're gonna need shorts for tomorrow. Bo says multiple open spots off Tustin Landing, 4 foot wide by 10 to 15 feet long. So again, guys, I appreciate all the messages and everything. I wish I could, I apologize if I'm not answering everybody's messages. If people only understood on a given day, whether it be Facebook or text messages, I will get over 100 messages in a day, on top of probably 50 to 60 phone calls. And I don't have, I need a secretary. I typically answer my wife and, dealers and customers and stuff like that, trying to get all the work and stuff done. But a lot of people just calling looking for fishing reports and, hey, where can I get off on the lake? Or is it safe over here? Is it safe over there? And I can't keep up with that. If you don't, the easiest thing I'm going to tell everybody right now is if you don't know the lake, stay off. Especially right now with how bad Poygan is. That lake is in bad shape. Where there's ice, there's good ice, but the problem is there's so many open hot spots, little cancer sores everywhere on that lake right now that especially guys going out in the dark and trying to follow GPS tracks or whatnot. Well, I'm here to tell you that those GPS tracks have moved and the spots are growing, cracks are opening up, cracks are shifting. It's changing, not even daily, more or less hourly. So unless you're out there every single day and you know exactly where to go, just, best thing to do is just stay off and or go fish some small lakes or just stick into like Boom Bay or stick into the bays or something. From Captain's Cove, you can go out there and throw some pike tip ups up and some tip downs for some perch, and you guys should get some fish there off the Duck Inn, back in Boom Bay. Bluegills, perch, and pike over there. All spots that you could even walk off pretty easily. So that's what I can tell you. I wish I had better news, but unfortunately, Mother Nature is again throwing us another curveball. So we're just going to deal with it. We're going to keep swinging and keep taking the pitches as best we can. Let's see, Chantel asks, does anyone catch anything in Clark's Bay? I don't know if anybody's going back there anymore, Chantel. That ice opened up a long ways back into Clark's, off the, people that the only way you can really get back in there is off of that boat landing back by Losley Shore there. And that open water got really close to that and is growing. So I don't know unless, you live on that shoreline and people are letting, other people walk down or get through. I don't think anybody's really going back into Clark's right now. And if you are, again, you got to remember that's all rocks around Clark's Point and stuff, and that's going to heat up and open up, and that's going to be all open water here pretty soon. I did go take a look at Butamore, and if you're going out off of Sandpit or coming off of the county landing, again, be super careful. All those points have opened up. It's open water on every one of those points right now. And the little creek, the springs or whatever that flows down along Sandpit on the road there, is starting to eat at the ice, and that landing's getting to be kind of sketchy as well. So we just need cold and we need some snow. That's the best thing I can say right now is just to prevent any more erosion from the bottom up. Let's see. Brad says maybe a good idea to stay off systems early next week at best. Clubs will be working hard the next 5 days to help keep people getting across cracks and keep landings open with safe travel. Support your local fishing clubs, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. These guys are out there, risking themselves, equipment, everything else. Thanks to all the clubs for what you do, and it's very much appreciated by everybody that's out there. But guys, you can't get pissed off at these guys. They can only do we can only do what we can do. We're not God. We're not superhuman. We can't make ice, get any better. We can't prevent ice from melting. That's way out of anybody's control. And I've heard some people, screaming and yelling and getting upset that these clubs are pulling their bridges and stuff. And it's like, guys, they don't have to do this at all. They're doing it for us, and just be appreciative of what they are doing. They're being smart, and they're preventing, accidents from happening. And that's all we can ask for. So kudos to all the clubs that are trying to preserve the landings and, preserve people's lives and everything else. I've got no problems with people pulling bridges for safety factors. There's nothing more, more disturbing than people getting upset because they can't drive their vehicle out on the lake to catch a fish. Think about that for a minute, and then kind of check yourself and see, really what is important, because we don't want to read about you in the newspaper. We don't want to see anybody getting hurt. That lake is swallowed enough people that I know, and I don't want to see anybody out there, getting hurt or losing equipment or drowning or anything like that. So, what else do we got? Go back through here. I was able to wash the salt off my truck tonight. It got into a pretty color of white and gray, and I was surprised to see how black it actually is. It should be nice to dry out in the sun tomorrow, and have a nice clean truck to park in the garage while we're gone for a week in Mexico. Anybody have any questions or any reports or anything to share? The Watoma High School fishing team had their first event this past Saturday. I believe my buddy Dave was out there. They were supposed to come out by us on Winnebago, but the parents and that did not want to drive. So I believe they stayed out on Silver, and they caught a lot of fish. They did really good. They, I think, ended up in like 5th place or something like that out of 100 and some teams for the entire state. But one of the dads, or when they measured the fish, rather than measuring each fish individually, they measured a bunch of crappies together, and just put in one measurement of like 40 some inches, and all those fish got disqualified. So they went from like 5th place down to like 21st or something. And just kind of a lesson learned, I guess. Yeah, so good luck to those guys again, and we'll see. We'll see how they can do it. They've got a great group of guys that are helping, and a lot of knowledgeable fishermen. We got great area to take advantage of these waters too. So good luck, kids, and please reach out. ATV, UTV travel is good yet on Bag Off Merit as long as crack doesn't heave. That's the biggest thing. They've got the ATV bridges still out by the crack. They did pull the vehicle bridges today. They will be putting them back out on Friday. Otter Street has their fishery this weekend. So that'll be, a pretty big deal. Really, it's going to be just getting through tomorrow. 50 degrees and sunshine like that can do some damage, and add a little bit of wind to that. Doesn't look like it's going to be as windy as what it has been. I think they're only calling like 20, 25 miles an hour instead of the 30. So that will be nice to see. But yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend out on the lake. And the other thing too, guys, is when you're coming up to these bridges, god darn it, one vehicle per bridge. I don't want to see 2 or 3 guys trying to drive on the bridge at the same time. It's just common sense. And when you're driving up to these bridges, slow down. Don't be doing 40 miles an hour and pushing that big wave up to these cracks, because all you're doing is kegging, you're basically breaking everything apart as you're, driving fast. You're pushing a wall of water with your vehicle, and you get up to these cracks, and that water is doing this, and pretty soon, everything starts breaking apart. Just be smart and be respectful and courteous to all the other guys that are out there. It's crazy to watch these guys drive over these bridges, and then you get some of these guys too that think they can drive across the ATV bridges with their vehicles. No, it's an ATV bridge. It's not meant for vehicles. So that's that. Let's see. But yeah, as far as once you get out there, guys, it's beautiful. I mean, it is like driving on a highway. I'm pretty certain Oshkosh roads are rougher than what Lake Winnebago is right now. It's smooth as silk. There's very little, if anything, for cracks. On the whole western part of the lake, you can pretty much go from Oshkosh to Quinny, with no worries. When you go south, you get into a couple cracks that are, guys are just jumping with their vehicles. They're pretty froze up. That might change tomorrow. So just, be careful. Again, don't just go off of your GPS tracks and think that, oh, yesterday was good. I should be good today. You can't do that. When we have weather changing like what it is right now, you have to watch every step that you're taking. You come up to a crack, drive up to it slow. Don't push the water, and just use caution driving over the top of it, and you should be fine. So the let's see. Travis, did you anchor your shacks better? So what's crazy is we had those things iced in, and we got the ropes, and I've got big leg bolts or big, I guess, ice anchors that are on the side, and screw those things down to the ice. And the wind just it broke them, pulled them right apart, and lifted them right off the ice and flipped it over. So what happened with the shack that flipped, it didn't move. It flipped over. And what was crazy is all the snow, the drift that was kind of there from the weekend from the snow, drifted all the way around us. And I think what happened is that that anchor broke, and the rope was still sucked to the ice or in the ice, and it spun the shack around. And I think what happened is as it spun it, the one ski caught the edge of the snow, and it must have just hit that and then flipped it over on its side. And that's exactly how we pulled it back up too, is we put a rope on each ski, dragged it till we hit the snow, so the one ski couldn't slide anymore, and then it literally just flipped right back over. So it wasn't hard really to get it up. Justin and I did it with ease. We just hooked the UTV up to it, and it was good to go. Is my ice castle safe on Poigan in the shoe for now? Yeah, but I don't know how you're going to get it back. That's my biggest fear right now is the landings. So many of the access points are getting to the point where, if you got a shack out on Poigan, especially a big one like that, I don't know if I'd leave it out there. I think I do my best to get it off. You can always go put it back out, right? But right now, if I were you, I would get that thing off the lake, with the conditions that we have sooner than later. If you could go out tomorrow morning and get it off before, this sunshine and everything else does any more damage, that would be my recommendation. Big ice castle like that, a lot of weight. You need a big truck to pull it. I just wouldn't take any chances. These shallow spots are getting eaten away daily, and it's only going to get worse here until we get some snow and some real cold weather. So, and we're at that point in the time now, guys, where that sun doesn't do this anymore. It's actually up over the top of us, and it does start to eat away at the ice. Our days are getting longer. The sun's getting higher. It's getting hotter. And we're on the downswing now as far as ice making. So my recommendation, man, would just be to pull it. Take it out there with you if you can get out there, safe. But I would take it off if I were you. That's my recommendation. Let's see, Bob. Yeah, like don't go dragging your shack around people midday. Get there on time. Be smart. Geez. Oh my goodness, Robert. I don't know what that guy's deal was. I think the some of my clients, rather than starting at 7, we've been starting at 8, and these guys are driving from long distances and stuff. And I guess people have problems with me starting my day off at 8 o'clock, and they're yelling at me because I'm not out there on time. I don't know, whatever. Always going to be haters. Ray, you got to bring your track sled out, bud, and whip around out on the lake. Travis, I don't see much cold weather left either. Boy, I was on my phone just looking at the weather, and it's going to be cold starting next week again. Just pull it up here. So tomorrow, obviously, it's going to be record breaking, 52 for a high, 28 for a low. Friday, 41, 16. Saturday, 31, 27. Sunday, 49, 19. Then Monday, 31, 12, 25, 15, 26, 22, 28, 12, 27, 15, and then 35, 16. And then it looks like towards the end of that second week, or once we get in the second week of February again, looks like it gets down into the single digits and zero, below zero. That's on the 11th and 12th. So there's some cold, even dropping down below zero, or I'm sorry, into the teens or around zero at night definitely helps. But sunshine right now is our worst enemy. We need snow. And right now it's looking like there might be some precipitation coming in here in those first couple weeks of February. Plenty of good chances for some snow. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Yeah, Tim, that crack south of the tree line, that thing's froze pretty solid. I actually drilled on it, and there's not much. There's no gaps there. It's all she's solid as a rock. And then all the stuff too. I went up by the mouth of the river, um, and the all the cracks around in front of like Fugelberg and 24th Street, that's busted up really bad. I don't know if I've ever really seen it busted up as much as what it is. And then two, there's a lot of just shove ice and a bunch of just junk and stuff that probably floated down out of the river, just trees and branches and all kinds of crap that's frozen into the ice over there. So that's going to be a sore spot because those things are going to heat up, and those are going to create little tiny holes and weak spots, and that whole area there is just going to turn into kind of a death trap area. So be cautious around that spot, around that area too, right out from the mouth of the river, probably about 3/4 of a mile to a mile. And there's a big long stretch of just debris frozen into the ice for quite a ways. Goes, I'd say, darn near to Stony Beach, and then yeah, it doesn't. I don't know if it made it all the way past the mouth of the river to the north. I think it stopped. There was a shack that was up there, a skid house that kind of was the end of where all the crap was that froze into the ice. But it was definitely eaten away, and that stuff will just heat up and kind of soak through, and all the leaves and junk that's there will just make that ice super soft and pretty sketchy. So just be careful around the mouth of the river too. Didn't see any fish up there. I was surprised. I figured for sure that I'd see something cruising around, but never really seen much of anything. Uh oh, what happened? All of a sudden, Facebook just went blank. Yeah, Mike says as far as shacks on the ice, one thing to remember is that the sun reflection off the shack on the ice without snow can burn a hole in the ice quickly. Absolutely, especially if you've got a silver, a mirror for an ice shanty. That sun bounces off of that and will just. It's like putting a magnifying glass again, right, on top of the ice. That'll reflect that light back onto the ice and melt it pretty quick. I see it, guys, if you're not, even your house, I've got my pole barn or my shed, all the snow along the edge of the pole barn, just piles up from the roof. It's 40 by 80. So I get piles of snow that are, sometimes 3, 4 feet high. And, the sun reflecting off the building will melt those 4 foot piles in a matter of a day. It does not take long, and that's just reflecting off the side of my building. So, good point there, Mike. Is be careful. We need. All I can say is we need some snow. Let's see. Andy says, thanks for posting the open hole last week, and I sent you. We were in a shack about 100 yards away when the ice cracked very hard, and then the water started bubbling up that spot. Oh, we were out on Bago, and we had, it was blowing so hard that you couldn't really hear, but I know what ice quakes sound like, and I could feel it. I knew that we were shifting. And if you've never experienced it, it'll definitely make your ass pucker. I'll just tell you that much right now. Because I've had guys, one funny story, I had some clients once, we were out down by Jesuit, and I had my 20-foot snowmobile trailer out there at the time. And snowmobiles out on the ice, shacks were on the ice. It was a beautiful day, super warm out. Stuff was really singing, and ice was popping pretty good. And we're out on the ice, and it was a good 30, probably 45 seconds long of an ice quake. And I had two guys out with me, and they took off running so fast. They jumped into my trailer, and I had all I could do to just keep from bawling, from laughing so hard. I'm like, guys, the last place you're going to want to be is inside a trailer if you think you're going down. And two, it's just a little bit of ice shifting, a little bit of an ice quake. It happens all the time. Not a big deal. But they ran and hid in that shack, and they did not want to come out. It was quite funny. Tim, yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. This has to be the windiest January on record. It literally, it's, every day for the last like 3 weeks, it's been 30 miles an hour, gusts to 45, 50. Just, it's crazy. It was definitely an ice quake, probably a 5.0 on the Richter scale. Ass puckered up for sure. It was wild. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, what's really fun is when that happens right underneath you. I've had that happen out on Poigan. One time we were out. I had just some young kids out fishing with me, and the crack opened up. Well, we had a crack open up in between the three of us that was probably 8 inches or so wide by the time it was done. That was the first time I ever had that happen, and that made me a little nervous, not going to lie. But when it happens, nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's going to happen. It's, the ice is going to move, and that's it. You just got to change your shorts at the end of the day. Let's see here. As far as kind of what else is happening, there's getting to be some empty shelves and stuff like that, at some of the big box stores. As far as ice fishing products go, I know we have the whole month of February left, guys, and I have a feeling we're probably going to be fishing into March this year. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping so. It's shaping up to be that way. We've got a lot of good hard clear ice. This ice is going to last. The nice thing about having this clear ice is it is good and hard. It takes a lot to melt that clear ice because it's such good ice. But on the flip side, because it's clear, it's melting from the bottom up. So we get some snow cover. We get a bunch of snow here in the first couple of weeks of February, and we're going to have ice for quite a while, and should be good. So if you're looking for products or baits, electronics, augers, whatever, the best thing to do right now is just to visit your local, your small independents, the Critters, the Sportsman, the Real Shot. All these independent guys are sitting on some inventory yet, but the nice thing with them is, they can also order it for you and have it. If they don't have it, they can get it for you in a day or two. That's the beautiful thing with these small guys. I will tell you that the box stores, other than, Shields does a really good job of keeping things on the shelves. But as far as like the Fleet Farms and Farm and Fleets and, the bigger stores like that, they are pretty much done ordering for winter, and we'll be starting to change their shelves over to spring summer stuff. So if you're looking for stuff, give the small independent guys a call, and they will be able to help you out. And Critter's doing a good job as far as keeping up on the baits and stuff like that too. So I was just in there today, and he's pretty stocked up. So just now we need to keep the cold and keep the fishing going. Other than that, if nobody else has any questions, I've got a few things I need to do yet tonight before I go to bed, and be probably another late night tonight, and get up and do it all over again tomorrow. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Good luck this weekend. We will not have a live next week. I will be in Mexico, and there's no internet where we're staying. You got to pay for it. So I'll post some pictures of a couple of Coronas and some mojitos by a sandy beach, and maybe some whales or something like that. But I will be soaking up the sun for a week, and just enjoying and relaxing time with the wife and I, and we just need a reset. We've got a lot of family stuff happening, a lot of just craziness that stress levels are at our max right now, and it's going to be nice to just go hit the reset button, sit and relax, and get back to the grind here back in Wisconsin in 10 days. So appreciate you guys all tuning in, and the support and everything else means a lot. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, everybody have a good night. Kevin, what kind of big fish in Big Spring Lake? Kevin, there's pike, there's trout, bluegills, some crappies. But most of the time on Spring Lake, a lot of the guys are going for the pike. A lot of small, 30-inch hammer handles. Justin, that hook removal tool, I will look for that again. I reached out to those guys after I cast this past summer, and they never got back to me. So I don't know what happened there, but it was pretty cool. Definitely something everybody should have in their arsenal. For emergency situations, or just really any time. But I'll do some digging, and then I'll just post it on the Facebook page. So thanks for reminding me on that. I think that's it. All right, gentlemen. Everybody stay safe this weekend. Good luck if you're fishing Otter Street, or just anywhere. Just remember, stay away from the shallow rocks, stay away from the shallow weeds, watch the landings, watch the cracks. And just be smart, guys. Don't want to read about anybody going swimming here. Cheers, and we'll catch you guys here in 2 weeks. Have a good night, everybody.